right, so get this. You know all those notes you send in?
Yeah.
And that PDF about getting, like, extraordinary results.
Right.
I gotta tell you, this book, The One Thing by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan,
Oh, yeah.
it's really, like, making me rethink how I do pretty much everything.
Interesting.
Have you ever felt like you're just spinning your wheels,
Oh, yeah.
doing a million things, but not really moving forward?
All the time.
That's what this book is all about.
Okay, cool.
It's about cutting through all that noise and getting to the core of what really drives success.
Yeah.
It's finding that one most important thing that you can do to achieve any goal.
Okay.
And then just making it your absolute priority.
Makes sense.
There's a real elegance to that simplicity, like focusing your energy where it'll have the greatest impact.
I like that.
It's kind of like that domino effect, you know, that they talk about in the book.
Exactly.
Success isn't about doing everything.
Right. It's about finding the right domino to knock over.
Okay.
The one that'll like set off a chain reaction that'll make everything else easier.
Yeah.
Or even unnecessary.
I mean, have you ever had like a project or something where one small action suddenly unlocks a ton of progress?
Totally.
That's the domino effect.
It is.
The trick is finding the right domino.
The one with the most leverage.
Exactly.
And that's where the one thing gets really interesting.
Okay.
Because it goes on to like debunk a bunch of common lies.
Right.
That we tell ourselves about success.
Lies we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
These lies, they keep us scattered and prevent us from achieving those extraordinary results.
Like they're shining a light on those hidden beliefs that might be holding us back without us even realizing it.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the first lie they tackle is this idea that everything matters equally. Everything matters equally.
Yeah.
Oh, I see that trap.
It's like this classic trap where we feel like we have to give equal attention to everything on our to-do list.
Exactly.
But the book points out that's just not how the world works. They use the Pareto principle.
Okay.
You know, the 80-20 rule.
Right.
To really drive this point home.
80-20 rule.
Yeah.
Okay.
Think about like your last project.
Okay.
Did 80% of the results come from just 20% of your effort?
Probably.
I mean, this principle pops up everywhere.
It really does.
It's a powerful reminder that not all tasks are created equal. Instead of trying to do everything, we need to be ruthless about prioritizing that 20%.
The vital 20%.
Yeah, that'll truly move the needle.
I like that.
Keller actually shared how this principle transformed his own career.
Wow.
He realized that like just the handful of ideas and clients and investments were driving the majority of his success.
So the takeaway here
is
to look at your to-do list with a more critical eye.
Like way more critical.
What are the tasks that are really going to make the biggest difference?
Yes.
What can you delegate?
Right.
Or even just like eliminate altogether.
Completely.
It's about turning that to-do list
yes.
into a success list.
I love that.
A roadmap to achieving your goals.
It's not about working harder.
Yeah.
It's about working smarter.
Okay. Are you ready to move on?
Yeah, you ready for line number 2?
Let's hear it.
This one made me squirm a little.
Okay.
It's the myth of multitasking. We all love to think we're good at it.
Right.
Like juggling multiple things, being super efficient. But the one thing, it throws some cold water on that idea.
Multitasking is a myth.
They make a really compelling case that multitasking is actually a myth. Our brains just aren't wired to focus on multiple things at the same time.
I see.
We're just rapidly switching back and forth.
Correct.
And that switching comes at a cost.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
A huge cost.
Really?
They cite studies that show that multitasking can lead to a 28% loss of work time because of ineffectiveness.
That's a lot of time.
And then there's the increased errors and the stress levels.
I could only imagine.
When you're trying to do 10 things at once, are you really doing any of them well?
Yeah. Are you really present?
You might feel busy, but are you truly engaged in any of those activities?
Yeah. Are you absorbing the information?
Probably not.
It's like trying to write an email while you're listening to a podcast and scrolling through social media.
Exactly.
You might feel busy.
Yeah.
But are you really doing any of those things well?
You know, they bring up a fascinating point about how even though we know that multitasking isn't effective, we still do it.
We do it all the time.
It's almost like we're addicted
Interesting.
to that feeling of busyness.
Yeah, that frenetic energy.
Have you ever noticed that?
Absolutely.
It's easy to get caught up in that,
Right.
like that sense of urgency.
Yeah.
But the book suggests it's often like a distraction, a way to avoid focusing on those truly important tasks that require deep, sustained attention.
It makes me think about my own habits.
Me too.
How often do I catch myself mindlessly scrolling when I could be fully engaged in a conversation or something?
So we've got everything matters equally. Busted.
Right.
Multitasking busted.
Okay.
Let's move on to line number 3, a disciplined life.
Now this one piqued my curiosity.
Okay.
What's their take on discipline?
So they challenge this idea that you need to be like this perfectly disciplined person across the board to be successful. Instead, they introduce this concept of selective discipline.
Selective discipline.
And I found it so liberating.
So it's about choosing where to direct that discipline.
Exactly.
Focusing it on the things that will have the greatest impact on your goals.
Rather than trying to be superhuman in every aspect of life, they use the story of Michael Phelps, the Olympic swimmer, to illustrate this point.
I'm listening.
You know, Phelps, as a kid, apparently had trouble focusing.
Oh, really?
But his coach recognized his potential and channeled all that energy into swimming.
Wow.
He became like incredibly disciplined in his training, and the results speak for themselves.
I mean, he's an Olympic athlete.
It's a powerful example of how we can achieve amazing things when we focus our discipline on the areas that truly matter.
The things that matter most.
And honestly, I think this idea takes a lot of pressure off.
Yeah, I can see that.
We don't have to beat ourselves up for not being perfectly disciplined in every area of our lives.
It's a relief.
It is.
We can give ourselves permission to be a little less disciplined in other areas.
Without guilt.
Yeah, that's huge.
Speaking of discipline, the next lie the book tackles is all about willpower.
Willpower. The elusive key to success.
What do they have to say about that?
I'm intrigued. Well, this next lie might surprise you.
Okay, lie number 4. It's the idea that willpower is always on will call.
Willpower is always on will call.
Yeah, the book challenges this notion, saying that willpower is actually like a finite resource that gets depleted throughout the day.
I can see that.
We've all had that feeling of decision fatigue.
Yes.
Where even simple choices become like
monumental. It's been a long day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They talk about this fascinating study, the marshmallow test.
The marshmallow test.
Where they gave these kids the option to eat 1 marshmallow right away or wait and get 2 later.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of this.
The kids who waited for that second marshmallow, they ended up having more success later in life.
Really?
Like academically.
Interesting.
Higher SAT scores.
Wow.
Even better at managing stress.
So early willpower.
It's wild.
Can impact us later on.
It really shows the importance of developing those self-regulation skills.
Right, but willpower isn't just about resisting temptation.
Right.
It's about making decisions, focusing our attention, managing our emotions.
Oh, that stuff.
And those things take a toll on our mental energy.
The book has all this research that shows how easily willpower can just be depleted.
Oh, wow.
In one study, students had to memorize either a 2-digit number or a 7-digit number.
Okay, so like a short number or a long number.
Right. Then they were offered a choice between chocolate cake or fruit salad.
What do you think happened?
I'm betting those students who memorized that longer number went for the cake.
I think you're right.
They did.
Because it takes more mental effort.
Yeah.
Leaving less willpower.
To make the healthy choice.
Exactly.
Even that small mental task was enough to like drain their willpower.
That's fascinating.
They also talk about a study of parole board decisions.
Parole board decisions.
Yeah. Judges were more likely to grant parole early in the day or like right after a break.
Interesting.
But as the day went on, they got more likely to deny parole.
Really?
Even for cases that were pretty similar.
So decision fatigue really took hold.
It wasn't necessarily that the judges became harsher.
Right.
It was that their ability to make those complex decisions was impaired.
As their willpower decreased.
Yeah, as their willpower waned.
I see.
So the takeaway here,
okay,
be strategic about your willpower.
How do we do that?
Tackle the most important things.
Yeah.
Early in the day.
Okay.
When your willpower is at its peak.
When it's fresh.
Exactly. They compare willpower to a muscle.
Oh, like it gets tired.
It gets tired.
And needs rest.
And needs to rest.
Okay.
So ditch the whole I'll sleep when I'm dead mentality.
I'll sleep when I'm dead. Not a good strategy.
And prioritize your well-being.
I like that.
All right, so on to lie number 5.
Okay.
This one's a bit controversial, especially in like our always-on culture.
I think I know where this is going.
Okay.
The myth of a balanced life.
You got it.
A balanced life.
The book says that this idea of like perfectly equal work-life balance, it's just not realistic.
Okay.
Instead, they talk about counterbalancing.
Counterbalance.
So instead of trying to split our attention equally.
Between all areas of life.
Yeah, all the time.
All the time.
We focus intensely on one area for a while.
Yeah.
And then we shift to another.
Okay, so like focusing on a work project for a week.
Exactly.
And then dedicating the weekend entirely to family time.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, I like that.
They use this analogy of juggling 5 balls.
Juggling 5 balls.
Some balls are rubber.
Okay.
They can bounce back if you drop them.
Right.
Work is often a rubber ball.
Okay.
But other balls are made of glass.
Class.
Like family, health friends, integrity.
Right.
If you drop a glass ball, it shatters.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
It's a powerful reminder to be mindful of what we're prioritizing.
We can't give everything equal attention.
All the time.
All the time.
And that's okay.
It's okay to prioritize.
Yeah. There's this heart-wrenching story in the book about a couple who worked so hard. They were saving for travel and retirement.
Right.
And the wife, throughout their lives, would buy all this beautiful fabric for clothes she planned to make when they had time. But tragically, she passed away before retirement.
That's so sad.
Her husband couldn't even clear out her fabric stash because it represented all those unfulfilled dreams.
It's a reminder that we need to prioritize experiences and relationships.
In the present.
In the present.
Not postpone them.
Right.
Life is unpredictable.
You never know.
We don't know how much time we have.
Yeah. Make the most of every moment. All right. Are you ready to tackle?
Yes, bring it on.
The final lie.
What's the last misconception?
This one might surprise you.
Okay.
It's the belief that big is bad.
Big is bad?
When it comes to goals.
In what context? While massive problems are never ideal when it comes to setting goals, thinking big can be essential for extraordinary results.
So it's not about fearing ambition.
Right.
But harnessing it.
Exactly. If you're only thinking small, your actions are going to be limited, and so are your results.
Makes sense.
Success requires action, and action is driven by thought.
So if you want to achieve big things, you got to start by thinking big.
Exactly. They use the story of Sabir Bhatia, the creator of Hotmail, to illustrate this point.
I'm listening.
He arrived in America with very little money. But he had this massive vision. He believed he could build a company faster than anyone ever had.
Wow.
And he did.
Really?
Microsoft bought Hotmail for $400 million.
That's remarkable.
It's a remarkable example of how bold thinking can lead to remarkable success.
You know, it's not about reckless risk-taking.
Right.
It's about having the courage to aim high.
And then taking action.
Take action.
Towards that vision.
Okay.
And the book encourages readers. Don't be afraid to fail. Failure is just part of the process.
Right.
It's a stepping stone on the path to success.
A stepping stone.
They say break down large goals into smaller steps, more manageable steps.
Manageable steps.
It's about having the courage to dream big.
Right.
And then taking those small, consistent actions to make those dreams a reality.
Turn those dreams into reality.
So we've debunked those 6 lies.
Okay, 6 lies busted.
That the one thing tackles.
Right.
But now I'm curious about the tool they offer for putting these principles into practice.
Right, because it's one thing to understand these concepts.
Right.
But it's another thing entirely to put them into practice.
You mentioned the focusing questions.
The focusing question.
Yeah.
I'm ready to hear more about this.
This is at the heart of this book.
Okay.
Such a powerful tool for cutting through all that clutter and zeroing in on what truly matters.
So how does it work?
So the focusing question, in its full form, it's what's the one thing I can do?
Okay.
And then you're going to add in a specific goal here.
Okay.
Such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary.
I love that.
It's all about finding that one domino that'll trigger that chain reaction of positive outcome.
It forces you to identify the most impactful steps.
Yeah, one step.
Yeah, the one that's really going to...
That's going to make everything else fall into place.
Exactly.
Keller says he uses this focusing question
for
everything.
For everything.
Major life goals.
Right.
Small daily tasks.
Wow.
It helps him prioritize and make sure he's always working on the most important thing.
So it's not just a one-time exercise.
No.
It's a way of life.
It's a way of thinking.
Yeah.
A way of approaching every decision.
I like that.
He encourages readers to make it a daily habit.
Ask the focusing question.
Yeah. Even like...
using visual reminders. Like notes or screensavers.
Okay.
It's about training your mind.
Yeah.
To constantly be looking for the most important thing.
The one thing.
The one thing.
That'll make the biggest difference.
They delve even deeper into asking great questions.
Great questions.
To get great answers.
Great answers.
He believes that just like goals should be big and specific. So should the questions that guide us toward those goals.
Okay.
He actually provides a great question matrix.
Great question matrix.
To help readers frame their questions effectively.
Okay.
It breaks down questions based on size and specificity.
And he argues that those big and specific questions lead to the most powerful answers.
The most powerful answers.
In results, when you set your sights high and provide a clear target, you're more likely to come up with innovative and impactful solutions.
So, for example, if you want to like increase sales, a small and specific question would be, what can I do to increase sales by 5% this year?
Small question.
Right, but a big and specific question. The kind that really pushes you would be, what can I do to double sales in 6 months?
That's a big question.
Right, that shift in perspective can be huge.
It forces you to think outside the box.
Right.
Consider strategies you might not have explored otherwise.
I like that.
And then they show you how to take that great question and turn it into the focusing question. So what can I do to double sales in 6 months? Becomes, what's the one thing I can do to double sales in 6 months such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary?
Whoa.
Adding that last part really shifts your thinking.
It does.
It makes you find the lever that'll make everything else fall into place.
Like finding the shortcut, the most efficient path to achieving your goal.
They also emphasize learning from others who have already achieved what you want, whether it's through books or articles, mentors, online resources. Modeling success can be a powerful way to accelerate.
Right. There's no need to reinvent the wheel.
Your own progress.
When there are people who have already paved the path.
No need to reinvent the wheel.
Find those role models and extract the key insights.
So we've identified our one thing using the focusing question. But how do we make sure we're dedicating the time and attention it deserves?
That's the question.
That's where time blocking comes in.
Time blocking.
Keller argues that it's like one of the most powerful productivity tools.
Interesting.
It sounds like it involves scheduling specific blocks of time for your most important tasks. Treating them like appointments.
Like appointments you can't miss.
That you wouldn't dare miss.
Gotcha.
Successful people don't just find time for their one thing.
They make time.
They make time for it.
I like that.
They block it off on their calendars. And protect it fiercely. Keller even admits that he comes from a long line of lethargic people. And that he isn't naturally a high-energy, work-all-day type.
Okay.
But he found time blocking to be a game changer.
A game changer?
It's not about brute forcing productivity.
Right.
It's about structuring your day in a way that aligns with your priorities.
Your priorities.
They even share a story about an executive assistant.
An executive assistant.
Who was resistant to time blocking.
Okay.
She was constantly interrupted.
Right.
Didn't think it would work.
I see.
But within a week, everyone adjusted.
Really?
And she saw this huge increase in her productivity.
So even in
busy work
environments, time blocking can be effective.
It can be incredibly effective.
When you commit to it.
When you commit.
Create those boundaries.
Yeah.
Protect those time slots.
Okay. Keller also talks about this essay by Paul Graham. Called Maker's Schedule, Manager's Schedule.
Maker's Schedule, Manager's Schedule.
Which emphasizes the need for large chunks of uninterrupted time for deep work.
Especially for
creative endeavor.
Creative things.
He makes this distinction between maker time, which needs those large uninterrupted blocks, and manager time, which can be broken down into smaller chunks for meetings and administrative tasks.
I see.
And Keller suggests trying to structure your day so that you can use that maker time in the morning, and then transition to manager time in the afternoon. It allows you to tap into that flow state.
I like that.
When you need it most. And then tackle those more fragmented tasks.
The fragmented tasks
later
in the day.
He also highlights blocking time for planning. He recommends doing this at least once a year.
Okay, once a year.
To review your goals. Assess your progress. And make adjustments. That regular reflection is crucial. For making sure you stay on track.
Absolutely.
And that your actions
align with your vision.
It's easy to get caught up.
It is.
In the day-to-day.
And
lose sight of
the bigger picture.
The big picture.
Here's a fun productivity tip. He got from Jerry Seinfeld. Seinfeld has this big calendar on his wall. And every day that he writes jokes, he puts a red X over it.
A red X?
It's about like building a chain.
Oh, wow.
And not breaking it.
Not breaking the chain.
Simple, but effective.
I like that.
Visual cues can be so powerful for motivation. And consistency.
It's a reminder of your progress.
Keller emphasizes protecting your time blocks. Even if it means finding a quiet workspace. Or letting people know that you're unavailable.
During those times.
It's about setting boundaries. Creating the conditions. It's a focused work.
For focused work. Taking ownership.
Taking ownership of your time and energy.
Rather than letting them be dictated by external demands.
I like that.
So far, we've covered the 6 lies that the one thing debunks.
6 lies.
Explored the power of the focusing question. And dug into time blocking. But the book doesn't stop there.
Oh, really?
Keller highlights the importance of the right mindset. For achieving extraordinary results.
I'm all ears.
He calls these the 3 commitments. So the first is a commitment to mastery. You need to approach your one thing with a mindset of continuous learning and improvement.
So it's a journey. Not a destination.
Striving to become the best you can be. At what matters most to you. They draw a connection to the 10,000-hour rule. That Gladwell talks about. Which says that it takes 10,000 hours of practice.
Of deliberate practice.
To achieve mastery. In a specific skill.
So dedication, consistency.
It's all about dedication.
And a willingness to embrace the long game. The second commitment is a commitment to being purposeful. Highly productive people don't just rely on their talents. They look for the best models, systems, and strategies to achieve their goals. So they're proactive. And intentional.
They're willing to step outside their comfort zone and learn from those who've already
learn from the best.
Achieved success.
The
third commitment
is
a commitment to accountability.
Accountability.
You have to take ownership.
Yeah.
Of your outcomes.
Of your outcomes.
Successes and failures.
And failure.
Recognizing that you're ultimately responsible.
Right.
For your progress.
It's about having that internal locus of control.
Yes.
That belief that you have the power.
To shape your own destiny.
Shape your own destiny.
It uses a story about two managers. Facing a business downturn.
All right.
One manager takes ownership of the situation.
Right.
Starts looking for solutions.
Yeah.
The other manager blames everybody else.
Oh, no.
And just hopes things will improve.
Bad strategy.
It's clear who's more likely to turn things around.
The accountable manager.
Yeah, the accountable manager.
Is proactive and solution-focused.
They're proactive and solution-focused.
And the other one's just stuck.
Stuck.
In that cycle of blame.
Okay, so we've explored those 3 commitments.
Right.
But just as crucial as knowing what to do is understanding what to avoid.
What to avoid.
That's where he introduces the 4 thieves of productivity.
The 4 thieves of productivity.
What are these productivity thieves?
I'm ready to hear about these.
The first thief
is
the inability to say no.
To say no.
When you say yes to everything, you're saying no.
You're saying no.
To your one thing.
To your one thing.
Spreading yourself too thin.
Yeah, you're getting pulled.
Getting pulled in too many directions.
In too many directions.
He points out that saying no doesn't have to be rude or unkind.
Yeah.
You can decline requests gracefully by offering alternative solutions, suggesting other resources, or just explaining that you're focused on your priorities.
Well, it's about being assertive.
Yeah.
And prioritizing your own goals.
Prioritizing your own goals.
Without feeling obligated to please everyone.
The second thief.
Okay, the second thief.
Is the fear of chaos.
Year of chaos.
When you're focused on your one thing.
On your one thing.
You're
going to fall by the wayside.
Things are going to slip.
You might have loose ends. Unfinished tasks.
Yeah.
A general sense of things piling up around you.
It's the natural consequence.
It is.
Of prioritization.
You can't give everything equal attention.
Right.
So there will be some chaos.
There will be some chaos.
He encourages readers to make peace.
Make peace.
With this chaos.
With this chaos.
The success you achieve
by
focusing on your one thing will outweigh.
It'll outweigh.
The discomfort of having some things left undone.
So trust the process.
Trust the process.
A certain level of imbalance.
Yes.
Is necessary for success.
The third thief.
All right. The third thief.
Is poor health habits.
Poor health habits.
Neglecting your physical and mental well-being.
It's like trying to run a marathon.
Oh, yeah.
On an empty tank.
You're not going to get very far.
You're not going to get very far.
Our bodies and minds need fuel. They need fuel.
And rest.
And rest.
To perform at their best.
To perform at their best.
He really emphasizes getting enough sleep.
Sleep.
Eating nutritious foods.
Yeah.
And exercise.
Exercise.
These aren't just lifestyle choices.
Right.
They're essential.
They're essential.
For maximizing your energy.
Energy.
And focus. Neglecting these needs. Can lead to.
It can lead to.
Decreased energy. Poor concentration. Diminished well-being.
Right.
The fourth and final thief.
Okay, the fourth one.
Is an environment that doesn't support your goals.
I see that.
If you're constantly surrounded by distractions or negativity or people who don't support your ambitions.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
To have supportive environment.
To stay focused.
Absolutely.
Keller emphasizes the importance of both.
Okay.
Your physical environment. And your social network.
So creating a workspace.
Yes, that's good for productivity.
That's conducive to productivity.
And surrounding yourself with people who inspire you.
Surround yourself with people who lift you up.
Exactly.
He talks about research that shows how our social networks can impact our health habits.
Really?
Like if someone close to you becomes obese, you're statistically more likely to gain weight too.
So we're influenced by the people we spend time with.
Our habits rub off on each other.
Their habits.
Yeah.
Their attitudes.
For better.
Their beliefs.
Or for worse.
It's a good reminder.
It is.
To be mindful of who you're spending time with.
So we've covered those 4 thieves.
Okay, 4 thieves down.
In the final chapter, Keller brings it all together.
Yeah.
He emphasizes that success is a sequential process.
Okay.
Built one thing at a time.
One thing at a time.
It's about finding that crucial domino. And setting it in motion.
I like that.
He encourages readers to embrace the journey.
Embrace the journey.
And remember that extraordinary results take time.
Time, effort.
And dedication.
And dedication. There are no shortcuts.
No shortcuts.
To success.
Lasting success is the result of consistent action.
Consistent action.
Perseverance and a willingness to learn and grow.
So true.
He concludes by reminding us that while there are no guarantees of success, there's always one thing.
There's always one thing.
That matters more than anything else.
At any given time.
At any given time.
Find that one thing.
Yes.
And go for it.
He ends with this beautiful and thought-provoking story.
Oh, wow.
About a father and son.
A father and son.
That really highlights the importance of focus.
Focus.
And prioritization.
And prioritization.
It's a reminder that the most important things in life are often the simplest.
I like that.
That story is a good reminder to like pause and reflect.
Pause and reflect on
what truly matters.
What truly matters.
The one thing doesn't just leave you with these big ideas.
Right.
It gives you some guidance.
That's what I was hoping for.
On how to implement them.
Because it's one thing to understand.
Yes.
But it's another to actually put it
into practice.
Into practice.
At the end of the book, Keller includes some bonus focusing questions tailored to different areas of life.
Like what?
It's like a cheat sheet.
All right.
To get you started.
I'm always looking for ways to refine my approach to goal setting.
So for your personal life, he suggests questions like, what's the one thing I can do to improve my health this year?
Okay.
Or what's the one thing I can do to improve my relationship with my partner this year?
My partner?
Kids.
My kids.
My parents.
He even has one about happiness.
What's the one thing I can do to significantly increase my happiness this year?
Those are good questions.
They really cut through all the noise and get to the heart of what matters most.
Of what matters most.
For your professional life, questions like, what's the one thing I can do to improve my skills this year?
To improve my skills.
What's the one thing I can do this year to build a successful side business?
I love that one.
They encourage you to think about both your current role and your future aspirations.
Invest in yourself. Create opportunities.
For growth.
And then for businesses.
Okay, for businesses.
He has questions like, what's the one thing we can do to dominate our market this year?
Okay.
What's the one thing we can do to increase customer satisfaction this year?
Customer satisfaction.
What's the one thing we can do to improve our company culture this year?
I love that one.
They encourage a focus on
strategic initiatives
that can have
a ripple effect.
A ripple effect
throughout the organization.
It's about aligning everyone
Yes.
around that shared vision.
Keller wraps it up by emphasizing that achieving extraordinary results requires action.
It requires action.
It's about doing the answer.
Doing the answer.
And making that your first one thing.
Your first one thing.
It's about taking those insights and turning them into concrete action.
Knowledge is only powerful
when
it's applied.
So to leave you with a final thought,
Okay.
inspired by the one thing.
Yeah.
What one thing
All right.
could you achieve in the next year?
Okay.
If you fully committed to these principles.
In the next year.
What would you be willing to say no to?
That's a great question.
To make that happen?
It challenges us
Yeah.
to think big,
To think big.
to prioritize,
Prioritize.
and to take action
Take action.
to achieve our goals.
This deep dive has been a real eye-opener for me.
Me too.
I'm ready to put these principles into action
Yeah.
and see what extraordinary results I can achieve.
I hope you are too.